What's Crack-A-Lackin? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into another episode of My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Sleaze. Today, the last episode sit of the day is going to be tight ends. Every single matchup heading into week 7 here. Make sure you have Dalton Kincaid, Mark Andrews, and Likely out of your lineups. The Bills and Ravens are on a bye this week. This episode is going to be where I show receptions, yards allowed, touchdowns, defensive rankings versus them. We'll talk about a couple injuries as well. Looks like we may have George Kittle diddle back this week for the 49ers. Before we dive into it, guys, make sure that you tap that like and subscribe button. All the support's appreciated. Turn that bell on. I'll be live Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week as well if you guys want to pop in, talk some fantasy football. If you can't make the shows, always drop any comments you have down below. I try to answer every single one of them. It's getting tougher and tougher, but I promise that's a goal of mine to try to get to them. If you guys haven't signed up on drafters.com and you want to draft with us, do best ball, pick'ems, DFS drafts. I'll be live Friday doing all those. Sign up using promo code SLEEZ, Sleaze. It will double your initial deposit up to $100. And I'm going to put my pick'em ticket for Thursday. We're going to toss it into the Discord, the Guys FF, where me and Big Draft Energy help you guys with everything fantasy football off stream, 24/7 trades, dynasty values, everything like that. I'm a trade wizard at Dynasty, man. So let's take a look at the week 7 tight ends that you should be starting or sitting to dominate your matchups this week. So if you guys are new to the channel, this is my tight end board. Green start, yellow flex play, red is a sit. Away team is at the top, home team is at the bottom. And we are going to kick it off with the old man, 80-year-old quarterback battle for Thursday night football, where Aaron Rodgers is headed into the Cincinnati Bengals. 4-1 Steelers, 2-4 Bengals. The over-under is 43.5. And Pittsburgh is favored by 5.5. And lo and behold, this game is kind of weird. And these are kind of interesting tight end plays here. So when you're looking at Jonnu Smith, he did get an increase back to 70% snaps in the Arthur Smith system. It is always very hard to trust Arthur Smith and how it's going to go. We know all this, right? But the matchup you're going to get here with the Bengals, and I say this all the time, this is the best matchup in football versus the tight end. They rank dead last. They give up 17.8 points, 37 receptions, 395 yards, and 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns is the worst in the NFL versus tight end position. So if you need a dart throw play, the matchup couldn't be better, but you do get a little rotation of Freiermuth. You do get a little Darnell Washington. Again, it's Arthur Smith. This is more of a low-end flex play, dart throw tight end if you need, because the Cincinnati Bengals are so bad versus the tight end. Now, on the Bengals side, this gets interesting as well here too. So you saw the targets go to Tanner Hudson. He got the touchdown. He's hurt. He got a concussion. He may not play this week, which looks like he's going to be out. Gesicki had a major injury. Noah Fant became the guy and got 4 targets himself. And you get the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 4th worst versus the tight end. They give up 17.2, 32 receptions, 359 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So again, I don't love these guys as starts, but matchup base, these are 2 of the best matchups you can get in fantasy football for the tight end, and how the defenses are weak against them. So dart throw plays with Jonnu Smith and Noah Fant, I'm not mad at this week because the matchups are absolutely gold. Down to Wembley Stadium we go in London, where the 4-2 battle between the Rams and Jaguars is going on, and the over-under is 44.5. And honestly, the Rams are favored by 2.5. I might take the under just because these games in London have been terrible all year long. And when we're looking at both these teams, are we really starting any of the tight ends? I could have put Hunter Long up there. I'm not throwing Hunter Long up there. Tyler Higbee did have a big game last week. Do I trust it? No, I do not. Terrence Ferguson saw his most snaps of the season as well. So he'll start to, cut into the Higbee use. And you still have Colby Parkinson out there. So it's kind of an aberration touchdown for Tyler Higbee. Don't get crazy about it. But I'm not starting any of these tight ends. And I'll give you the breakdown of their defenses real quick. Jacksonville's number 11 versus the tight end. Giving up 12.4, 337 yards and 2 touchdowns. So about, 40% chance for a touchdown of any of them if you do the math on that, 2 touchdowns out of 6 games. So you're looking at 30% chance. Sorry. So not good there. And then you go to the Jacksonville side, the Rams defense versus the tight end. This is another one of those good matchups. They're 15th, right at the middle of the pack, 13.1, 276, 2 touchdowns. Again, not good matchups. Both these teams are decent or above decent versus the tight end. And I'm not going to throw Hunter Long or Tyler Higbee or Ferguson in my lineup this week. The 1-5 Saints are headed into Soldier Field to take on the 3-2 Bears, coming off that big win, man. What a win over the Commanders last night for Caleb Williams and Jake Moody making the kick, man. Honestly, I clap it up for Moody as a Niner fan, even though it's been terrible for us. I'm glad to see him do good. You know, he was highly touted out of Michigan, 3rd-round pick, so it's good to see him hit a game winner. It was actually kind of funny with him at the post-game interview with his helmet on. He was so shocked that he made it. He left his helmet on for the interview. But we got to talk about this game here. So the Saints, Jawan Johnson has fallen off the radar. Taysom Hill got a touchdown, but still his usage is not enough. I don't trust either one of them. You're going up against the Bears in this matchup. The Bears versus the tight end, currently on the season ranked 21st. So it's more than advantageous, above halfway. Giving up 14.4, 250 yards, 39 receptions, and 2 touchdowns. Don't trust it in this game. The Bears get beat more by the wide receivers. This is going to be a Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed game here, and Alvin Kamara. On to the Bears side, this matchup is beautiful. The New Orleans Saints, they really struggle versus the tight end. They ranked 22nd. They gave up 14.6, 315 yards, 4 touchdowns, second worst. But you've got this split of Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet. You spend a top 10 pick on this guy. He's playing 20, 30% snaps. I know he's been hurt. Can't make that make sense. It's going to be a nightmare all year long with them. Probably, even if in the best matchup, like say they played the Bengals, I probably still wouldn't have them as a start because I just cannot see, with all the mouths to feed in this Bears offense with DJ Moore, Bird, and Romo Dunze, how they're really going to see enough volume to be a start play. But if you need a dart throw, the matchup's great. I'm just not willing to risk it with them in this matchup with how they play these tight ends. The 1-5 battle, the Miami Dolphins are headed into the dog pound to take on the Cleveland Browns. And this is going to be a tight end game. All systems green for me here. The over-under is 40.5. Cleveland is favored by 2.5. Now, Fannin, monster game last week. Njoku goes down with the gross knee injury, man. That popped backwards. Prayers up to him. I hope he's not out for the season, but I haven't seen the update yet. And what do you have with Dylan Gabriel as the rookie quarterback? What do they love? They love their security blanket. And if you watch my wide receiver video, he doesn't even target wide receivers. So this may be Harold Fannin as a monster week. You get the Miami Dolphins. Guys, the Miami Dolphins are the worst defense possibly in football. Versus the tight end, they rank 26, giving up 15.5, 36 receptions, 410 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Fannin coming off a 10-target week is probably going to get 10 targets again because Dylan Gabriel is just targeting tight ends like crazy. Now, Darren Waller, I put him on a sit last week. He got the touchdown at the end of the game versus the Chargers to save his day. It was a tough matchup. You get a good matchup here for Darren Waller. The Browns, they're weak versus the tight end. If anything, they're very strong versus the run. So they give up 14.7. They rank 18th, 30 receptions, 300 yards, and tied for second in touchdowns with 4. Guys, I got the hiccups. And Darren Waller scored 4 touchdowns in 3 games. You're probably starting this guy just based off his size, just based off the red zone looks. All the other wide receivers are tiny as they get. Malik Washington, Jalen Waddle, Taj Washington, they're all under 6 feet tall. This is your 6'6" monster, and Tua's going to chuck it up to him in the end zone possibly every time. He's got a touchdown upside every single game with his size, and I'm starting him because he's on fire. The 4-2 Patriots, and Drake made their Fuego on fire heading into the Tennessee Titans, and this is going to be a cakewalk win for the Patriots. And that's the only reason I kind of have Hunter Henry down. And I had Hunter Henry as a smash last week versus Saints, and it just was not there. It was the Kendrick Bourne show, scoring at the 1 yard line every single time, which could have been Hunter Henry time. But when you look at this matchup here, and you got to realize Titans just lost their head coach. Calvin Ridley is down. They don't know. This is so bad for the Tennessee Titans, man. How are the Patriots really going to need to pass a lot to beat them in this game? I would say not. So when I'm looking at the Tennessee Titans matchup versus the tight end right now for Hunter Henry, the Tennessee Titans, they're good versus the tight end. They rank 9th. They give up 11 points per game, 31 receptions, 250 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Don't like Hunter Henry in this game unless he scores early. I think the over-under. So 42.5, Pats are favored by 7.5. I'm taking the Pats to cover that. I think they're going to absolutely mollywop the Titans here. Now, interestingly enough, here on the Tennessee Titans side, this is one of my, big calls of the week here we'll go with. I like Chig as a start this week. So Calvin Ridley goes down. What do you see? You see the most targets for Chig with 6. You see 6 receptions, the most receptions on the year, 46 yards. He had 66 yards in week 3 versus Indianapolis. But Calvin Ridley was out there. Now Calvin Ridley is gone. This is going to be Cam Ward. We talk about it. Rookie security blanket. He's going to see about 70, 80% snap share as well in tight end 1 usage range. They're going to be playing from behind. He's not coming out in garbage time. You're going up against the Patriots and the tight end. This is where they're weak. They rank 23rd. They give up 15 points a game to the tight end, 34 receptions, 400 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Those are very bad numbers versus the tight end through 5 games. This is going to be a great, or 6 games, sorry. This is going to be a great spot for Chigakonkwo. If you need a spot start tight end, I like him for 10-plus points in PPR with big touchdown upside in this game. The 2-4 Raiders are headed into Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs, and this is going to get ugly for the Raiders, man. The over-under is 45.5. KC's favored by 12.5, and I think I'd take the 12.5 here. With Geno Smith at quarterback, I know Mayer had a big game last week, and I do expect Bowers to be out this week because their bye is next week. So if they're smart, they're holding him out through it. And who knows with their season, what's going to happen with Brock Bowers. So when you look at Michael Mayer, yeah, Sam Laporta had a touchdown versus the Chiefs last week, but the Chiefs, that was a very good catch in the end zone. Unbelievable. And the Chiefs are damn good versus the tight end usually. So they were number 2 before last week. Now they're number 5 because Laporta scored. So they give up 8.5, 23 receptions only, 219 yards, and the first touchdown of the year to Sam Laporta. Spagnuolo is very good at stopping tight ends. I do not like Michael Mayer even coming off his big game last week. And you got Geno Smith playing quarterback, man. It is ugly. Now, Travis Kelce's side, can't sit him. I want to say sit him with Rashee Rice back, but I think it's going to open up the middle even more for him. The Raiders are number 10 versus the tight end. They give up 10.7, 225 receptions, 273 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They've been good. But now that you have your wide receiver 1 vertical threat back, and your possession monster receiver, your vertical threat Xavier Worthy, this is just going to leave the open middle for Travis Kelce, and I like him as a start this week a lot. Jackson Dart and the New York Giants at 2-4 are headed into the 4-2 Broncos in Mile High Stadium, and this is completely wrong. Hang on, we are going to change this mid-video. That's how you know it's going live, or we're doing it live. Theo Johnson. So he got off to his hot start with Jackson Dart. He had his 2 touchdowns back-to-back. Now you get the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos defense is absolutely lights out versus the tight end. They rank 4th. They've only given up 8 points. 21 receptions. That's the 3rd least receptions through 6 weeks to a tight end. Do the math there, guys. That's almost like 2.5 receptions a game. That is rough. And I know you have no neighbors, and Wandale could get, the Patrick Surtain, and it could be Theo as the other guy. I'm not trusting it in this game versus the Broncos. Let's be real. Now, on to the Evan Ingram side. He looked great in the limited usage they're giving him. I can't make it make sense yet. He was my absolute dark horse tight end 1. And when he's out there, he looks like he can be the dark horse tight end 1. And he's had 3 straight games of averaging 11 to 12 points, but he's only playing 43, 41, 47% of the snaps, so averaging around 40. Like what? Like, is he not healthy? He looks healthy when he's out there. I can't make it make sense. You get the New York Giants this week. The New York Giants are 12th versus the tight end and give it up 12.7, 34 receptions, 296 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Not bad, not great, above average, I'd say, but Cortland Sutton's got a great matchup at wide receiver, and Evan Ingram has been getting the volume. Like, look at the volume. He's got 19 targets through 3 games, and he's playing 40% of the snaps. Get this guy to 90% like he played the year before injury, and he'll freaking explode. This is what I was looking for in the Joker role in the Sean Payton offense, but it's like Big Draft Energy says, it's like Sean Payton just hates our fantasy football teams. And I cannot make it make sense because he looks so good when he's out there, but he's not out there enough. I'm still putting him as a start because of the volume he's seeing, but it's not like a smash start. It's like a low-end start, tight end 1. Here we go, boys. This is going to be a fun one here. The 5-1 Colts are headed into the Los Angeles Chargers 4-2. The over-under is 48.5, and the Chargers are favored at 4-2 versus 5-1 Colts, which is interesting here at home. So, I mean, when it comes to Tyler Warren, are we really ever sitting this guy for the rest of time or the next 8 to 10 years? You are not. This man is an absolute superstar already. And I've said this in so many videos. Everyone tried to argue with me that Colston Loveland was going to be the better tight end. Yeah, right. So you get the matchup versus the Chargers, right? And the Chargers are damn good versus the tight end. They are a top 7 defense in the ranking number 7 versus the tight end, giving them 9.9 a game, 25 receptions, so bottom 5 there. 273 yards and 2 touchdowns, but Tyler Warren is that elite talent that you just do not sit regardless of the matchup. Obviously, it's a tougher matchup for him, but this guy scored, I think, in 3 straight games now. He's even rushed one in. They use him all over the place. I'm not sitting this guy for the rest of time. Now, the Chargers side here, this is interesting. So Will Dissly, Tyler Conklin, they're completely off the map. Who has emerged? My sleeper tight end of the year out of Syracuse, Rondé Gadsden, whose dad was an NFL superstar, so he has the blood. And what you got to look at here is, Quentin Johnston was out last week. So did that boost his usage up to 75% snaps? Think about what I just said. 75% snaps and Evan Ingram is playing 40. What? Right? That's what I'm talking about. Give Evan Ingram these numbers and look what will happen. But looking at Gadsden here. So Herbert seems to love this guy. I mean, he's played in 4 games. He played 26% snaps in game 1 and had 7 targets. Against the New York Giants, he played 48%, 3 targets, 54%, 1 target. And then last week versus Miami, he played 75% with 8 targets, 7 receptions, 68 yards, the best game of his career, 15.3 fantasy points. You'll take that all day at tight end. Now, you're going up against the Colts this week, right? What you got to look at here, the Colts, they rank 17th. They give up 14.1, 37 receptions, 339 yards, which is bottom 10 in yards and 2 touchdowns. But I'm going to put him as a flex play, low-end flex tight end play if you need a dart throw, because if Quentin Johnston's back out there, what is his usage back to, right? That's the scary part. Like, is he back to 40, 50%? Because I'm a volume guy. And if you're at 75%, I'm going to say he's a high-end flex play, but I just don't know how it's going to look with the Quentin Johnston update yet. So I'm going to say if you need a dart throw tight end, he could be a nice play this week. The all systems green start every one game. The 3-3 Commanders are headed into the Dallas Cowboys at 2-3-1. And you just saw Zach Ertz have his big game last night versus the Bears with 20-plus fantasy points. Jake Ferguson is tied in 1. He's been absolutely phenomenal this year. You're not sitting either one of these guys. I don't even care if CeeDee Lamb's back, because you could even look back to the games where CeeDee Lamb was there and Jake Ferguson still had 12 targets. I try to tell you guys all year long, this is the best value at tight end you could draft, because Dak loves his boy. But we got to look at it here, and this is just gold, right? Dallas Cowboys ranked 16th, getting up 13.3, 337 yards, 1 touchdown. Low touchdown numbers for the Cowboys against the tight end. That's a lot less than I thought. I would have said higher if I was, not looking at the stats. On to the Washington Commanders side, they ranked 10th, giving up 12.1, 338, 2 touchdowns. So both the teams are middle of the pack, which is not really a plus matchup. But when you're looking at a 54.5 over-under, you have Terry McLaurin coming back to this game, it looks like. CeeDee Lamb coming back to this game, it looks like. Deebo Samuel, George Pickens. These tight ends are going to be running free. Big games coming for Jake Ferguson and Zach Ertz with the wide receivers back on the outside, and I cannot wait for this game. Speaking of all systems green, let's do it again here. The 3-3-1 Green Bay Packers and Tucker Kraft are headed into the 2-4 Arizona Cardinals, who are going to be led by, I think, Trey McBride only himself. And the Cardinals are on a 4-game losing streak, just falling apart. And we don't know if Kyler Murray is going to be back out there, but what we do know is that when Jacoby Brissett becomes the quarterback, this offense looks better, and Trey McBride becomes the T-85 Terminator tight end 1 that he should be. So when you're looking at the Green Bay Packers defense for Trey McBride, if there's a weak spot, this is it. Versus the tight end, they rank 30th, third worst in the NFL, 17.3 points allowed, 39 receptions. You saw the Bengals, Hudson, and Fant eat them up last week. 39 receptions, 298 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now you look at the Arizona Cardinals. They're weak everywhere, but where's their weakest spot? The tight end. They rank 27th, giving up 15.8, 41 receptions to the tight end, the most in the NFL the Arizona Cardinals have allowed. 417 yards, the second most yards they have allowed as well. And if there's no Marvin Harrison with the concussion that it's looking like, and let's say Jacoby gets one more game, this could be a 30-point explosion game for Trey McBride where he wins you a fantasy football week, and you're not starting either one of these guys. The over-under 44.5. Green Bay's favored by 6.5, and I'm taking the Packers to smash the Cardinals. The 3-3 in Fuego red-hot Carolina Panthers are headed into the absolute turmoil. 0-6 Jets are the only win this team in football. The over-under is 41.5. Carolina's only favored by 1.5. I'm smashing that all day because there's no Garrett Wilson in this game. Now, what I just said should ring a couple bells here for you of when I said there's no Garrett Wilson in this game. So I want to talk about Mason Taylor here and why I absolutely love Mason Taylor so much this week. And he may even be like in the baller tier this week for the first time in his NFL career. And I know he's coming off a bad game and people like to panic and think that he had a 1-point game and all of a sudden let's bench him. Dude, the Carolina Panthers versus the tight end, they've been a phenomenal defense all around except for against the tight end. They rank second worst in the NFL at 31st, 17.6 points per game. 37 receptions, the second most receptions allowed to a tight end, 444 yards, the most in the NFL to the tight end position, 4 touchdowns, second most in the NFL they've allowed. And you've got to look at it like this. There's no Garrett Wilson. You have Josh Reynolds, Arian Smith. Who is going to catch the ball for them? It's going to be Mason Taylor playing 100% of the snaps. The volume is probably going to be in the 10-plus targets. He's going to be an absolutely must-start tight end this week, and people will get angry about his 1-point game last week and forget that he's going to absolutely smash this week. Do not do that. On to the Carolina Panthers side. Am I really starting Ja'Tavion Sanders off his first, game back off injury? Looks like he's going to be back. He practiced last week. He was close to coming out there. You get the Jets. They are bad versus the tight end. They rank 28th. They give up 16.2. They've given up 34 receptions in the top 5 there, and the receptions allowed 267 yards. And the most touchdowns in the NFL is 6 touchdowns. So Ja'Tavion Sanders has major upside here. I just don't like starting players in their first game back, and we really don't know if he's fully back. Tommy Tremble might mix in a little bit here and there. So sketchy situation here for Ja'Tavion Sanders, but it's a great matchup. I just want to wait a week to see how it looks for him before I just throw him out there. The 4-2 Eagles heading into the 3-2 Vikings coming off a bye, and the over-under 41.5. It's gone up, or 43.5. I think it went up a point already. Philly's favored by 1.5 in this game. Now, I've been completely wrong here about Dallas Goedert, but I'm not giving in. Like, gotta hold your ground here. And I know that Minnesota, if they're weak in any spot, it's the tight end. And when Philly said before the season, all the updates were that Dallas Goedert is going to be more involved in this offense with Kellen Moore gone. He is absolutely destroying fantasy football. And for some reason, I just still don't trust it. Like, all right. He's got to be a start. But, man, I look at the Vikings. They do rank 20th. They give up 14.3, 31 receptions, 244 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Goddard's been on a heater, so you're not sitting him. I can't say to sit him. He's 30 points last week, 20 points 2 weeks before that, 10, 10, and 14. He's never had under 10 points all season long. I guess he's become the focal point of this offense, a must-start tight end, which is absolutely crazy. And Minnesota's very good versus the wide receivers, so this could be an absolute smash Dallas Goedert spot for sure. On to the Vikings side, TJ Hawkinson. Looks like J.J. McCarthy might be your starting quarterback. Let me check the update right now as we're going through. Of course, I misspelled it. I saw Sleeper put it out there that he could be good to go, could return this week if the practices go well. So, I mean, he didn't really do much with TJ Hawkinson in his first couple games he was even out there. And you really look at rookie quarterbacks to look for their security blanket, and you get the Philadelphia Eagles, who are absolutely fangioed up against the tight end. They are number 3. They allow 7 points a game, 21 receptions. That's third lowest. 168 yards. That is third lowest as well. And 1 touchdown. That is tied for first with like 5 teams that have given up 1 touchdown. So I don't like TJ Hawkinson this week, and I absolutely love Dallas Goedert this week, which is crazy to say. But I still kind of have that, like, is Dallas Goedert this guy? Like, if you've played fantasy football long enough, Dallas Goedert's burned us so many times that, I mean, is he going to have his breakout all-star Pro Bowl season this year? He's on his way to it right now. I just don't know if I still trust it, but he's got to be a start. This is going to be an all-systems green game for me here. The Dirty Bird Atlanta Falcons 3-2 coming off a big win over the Bills are coming into my 49ers, who are just absolutely beat to shit. But we get George Kittle diddle back. It looks like he's supposed to practice this week. I haven't seen the Monday update yet. And I like Kyle Pitts in this game too here. The over-under is 47.5. That's the third highest implied points total game of the week. Niners favored by 1.5. I think that's crazy. I'm taking the Falcons to win this game. But when you look at the matchup, and I know the Falcons are number 1 versus the tight end, but they just gave a touchdown up to Dawson Knox, and Dalton Kincaid was out. So are the numbers a little skewed? I'm going to go with yeah. They give up 5 points a game. They are number 1 versus the tight end. Only 9 receptions on the season through 5 games to the tight end, which is crazy. 88 yards and a touchdown. But this is George Kittle. The 49ers wide receiver room is absolutely banged up, besides Kendrick Bourne's probably the only healthy one out there. Christian McCaffrey will always do his thing. And if we get Purdy back in this game, we know that Purdy loves to throw it to Kittle like crazy. I'm not sitting George Kittle coming back off IR if he's back. And I'm not sitting him in any matchup ever. Now, Falcons side, Kyle Pitts. Why I love this so much. So you do know when you're looking at the 49ers, the tight end stopper is Fred Warner, and he is now out for the season. Robert Saleh is also a very good defensive coordinator versus the tight end as well, but it's hard to do without your captain, Pro Bowl, All-Pro top 5 linebacker of all time not out there. And you're going to have Lenore, who's a very good lockdown corner on Drake London. So this is going to be most likely a Kyle Pitts game here, pending on Mooney's status. Mooney could be back in this game as well. I still like Kyle Pitts here. The 49ers have been sliding versus tight end this year compared to normal. We're usually top 5. So we're number 13 and getting worse. We give up 13 points a game, 32 receptions, 278 yards, 3 touchdowns, tied for third worst there. You got to like Kyle Pitts in this game. I like Kyle Pitts way more than other people in this game because I do know my 49ers corners and I do know how it's going to go for Drake London. And I think Kyle Pitts is going to absolutely feast in this game without Fred Warner in the middle. Speaking of all system green, 52.5 over under 5-1 MVP Baker Mayfield are headed into the Detroit Lions 4-2, coming off that loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. And when you look at Cade Otton, here's what we got to look at with Cade Otton. Who is their wide receiver core going to be right now? And we do think that Mike Evans is going to be back out there, right? They said that he's supposed to practice this week. The game's on Monday, so hopefully we get like an update Thursday or Friday. Friday's always a big day for updates you need to pay attention to. But this could be Cade Otton 2024 revenge moment. And if you know what that means, so 2024, right? Remember when Chris Godwin and Mike Evans went down? I think it was like week 7 to 9. He had like 22, 30, 25. He was tight end 1 for 3 straight weeks. Now we are in that same situation. Maybe Mike Evans is back out there, but Godwin is down. Egbuka pops the hammy. McMillan's neck is fucked up. We got Sterling Shepard. We got, Tez Johnson, Cameron Johnson. This is going to be a lean on Cade Otton game here, even if Mike Evans is back, who's going to be a smash play of mine. And you got to look at Detroit versus the tight end. They rank 14th, giving up 13.1, 29 receptions, 316 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I like Baker Mayfield to feed Cade Otton for almost a 15-plus fantasy point game here, and I like him a ton. On to the Sam Laporta side, I'm done doubting this guy. I didn't like him last week. The matchup was absolutely terrible. Did he make a great play in the end zone versus Spagnuolo, who's very good versus the tight end, and catch a touchdown? Yes. But the volume was still phenomenal, and he's playing 96% of the snaps in the past 3 games straight. That is elite tight end 1 usage. Back-to-back 20-point games, 19 and 22, averaging 21 points. The mustache has got the rhythm right now, man. He is absolutely balling out. Tampa Bay's below average versus tight end, 18th, giving up 14.1, 33 receptions, 280 yards, 4 touchdowns. And the Bucs were a very good team at the beginning of the season versus the tight end and versus the wide receivers. Their secondary's beat to shit. Their linebackers are beat up. It's Vita Vea out there pretty much superstarring it by himself. Sam Laporta is going to feast in this game. You got to love the high implied point total game here for both these tight ends. They both have to be starts this week. The last of the Monday Night Football doubleheader, but not least with the tight end position, is going to be the Houston Texans at 2-3, headed in to face the 4-2 Seattle Seahawks. 40.5 over under, very low implied point total. I think it is going to be as well. Seattle is favored by 3.5 in this game. Now, interesting here. The first time in like 2 years I'm ever going to put Dalton Schultz as a startable tight end this week. And if the Seattle Seahawks get their, Woolen back, get their safeties back healthy, that is going to make it a lot more difficult for the wide receivers, which is why the Seattle Seahawks, before these injuries, were getting smashed by tight ends. They were the number 1 worst team. So as soon as their secondary went down with injuries, then the wide receivers started to hit, and the tight ends did less. So you got to remember that coming in. BTJ just went off on them, right? So 15.43, they ranked 25th. They were dead last all year long. Just remember that. 38 receptions, 346 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And you know that the Jags had 0 production from Hunter Long last week, or nothing. So when I'm looking at this game, Dalton Schultz has also seen 6 targets in 3 straight games. Cade Stover went to IR. The matchup is going to be great. Again, if everyone is healthy, if you need a dart play tight end throw, I like Dalton Schultz for 10 plus points this week. Now, on to I can't explain Seattle Seahawks side here. AJ Barner, guys, has 4 games out of 6 with 10 plus points, 1 game with 27 points, and he's playing 80% of the snaps at tight end 1 usage. Elijah Arroyo has been phased out of this, and AJ Barner has looked great. So, 4 touchdowns on the season, 3 touchdowns in the past 3 games. You get the Houston Texans, and I know it's going to be a very, 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 I'm going to say low-scoring kind of grunge game here on Monday night. And when you're looking at the Texans versus the tight end, they're a top 6 team. They rank number 6. They only allow 8 points. to the tight end, 22 receptions. That's tied for bottom third. 175 yards, which is third best, and 1 touchdown. So it's very tough. But with the way Jay Season has just opened up everything for everyone else, like Jay Season looks probably like the best wide receiver in football right now. It's crazy to say. He looks unguardable. He looks so fast. He looks, oh my God, it's just, gotta love watching Jay Season. It's making everyone else better. Like you never would have thought AJ Barner would be a top 11 tight end. He's tight end 11 coming into week 7. Like, and he played like nothing in game 1. Think about that. Like he had 1 point versus the Niners. This guy could be a legit top 7 to 8 tight end if he was playing the whole way. So if you need a flex play throw, just with his usage and how he's been, I'm okay with it. But it is a very, very tough matchup, but he's just on one. So, I mean, and I don't really like to ride the lightning, but when you've done it like 4 out of 5 games, I got to kind of get on board with it here. I mean, he's had 11, 3, 13, 27, and 12. That is great production for your tight end. I'll take that every single week. So if you need a flex play throw or like a dart play tight end and you lost in Njoku or something, I'm okay with AJ Barner. Thanks for rocking with me today. That is the end of all the start sit videos. You want to check out my quarterback, running back, wide receivers. Those are out as well. That's the end of the tight end, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. I hope it helps you dominate and win your matchups this week. If you guys have any questions as well, drop them down below. I try to answer every single one of them to help you guys. Before you head out, if you haven't already, tap that like button, hit that subscription, turn that bell on. It helps me out a ton. I can't thank you guys enough for all the support this past couple years. Everything's been absolutely amazing. We hit over 300 episodes a couple days ago. Absolutely crazy. You guys are the best community there is, man. If you guys haven't signed up on drafters.com, shout out to the sponsor. Make sure you use promo code SLEEZE. Same with the guys' FF Discord. Both those will be pinned in the comments and in the description of the video if you guys want off-stream help, everything like that. And that's it for me today, man. Tomorrow we dive into defense and kicker rankings. We dive into quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end rankings. Hopefully I get them all out tomorrow before the Thursday kickoff. Then we dive into smash starts and sleepers, and then we'll do a couple different live shows this weekend, have some new people on there, hopefully. And that's it for me today, man. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed everything. Sleaze Bomb out. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.